What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Tuesday. Gonna have a fun show today. Well, fun as in I think entertaining, but not fun when it comes to the Titans injuries that have stacked up over the last several days, really since they started joint practices back in Minnesota last Wednesday, beginning with the Traylon Burks knee sprain, other wide receiver injuries happening, including both Kyle Phillips and Kearis Jackson in the preseason game Saturday night in Minnesota, but other injuries stacking up that are going to complicate the 53-man roster as cut day approaches, which is what, Sam, a week from tomorrow?
A week from today. It'll be August 29th.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Right. A week from today, roster cuts, as every NFL team has to happen to get down to 53 men on their roster by 3 p.m. Central Time, a week from today, August 29th. So the last week of camp, the last preseason games over the weekend, and then roster cut day, and the Titans have decisions to make and injuries to navigate as well. So we'll talk about those. We'll talk about which receiver is going to have a better opportunity to make the team with all the recent injuries at the position and other injuries to take it into consideration as well. And then no joint practices today with the Patriots. Mike Vrabel and the Patriots made that decision on Sunday, but Mike Vrabel is doing something different with practice today, Sam, that I am very much looking forward to.
Pumped.
So we'll have fun with that at the end of the show, but it is Tuesday Sports Trivia, and we've also got a new approach to trivia. So the Titans are doing something new at practice. We're doing something new with sports trivia, and nothing new when the Titans talk about injuries, as there's a lot of them, as it has been the last couple of years. But Sam, let's get this thing rocking and rolling here.
Hey, let's do it here on a Tuesday morning. Lots to talk about, lots to go over. It should be a very fun show and a very fun day out at the practice field. So stay dialed into A to Z Sports and make sure you share the show before we kick it off. Get other people in here, whether you're watching on Facebook and you want to hit the share button or share the YouTube link with somebody, text it to somebody, get more people in on the conversation, introduce them to the A to Z Sports family. That's the best way to support us every morning before we go live and before we get into our conversation here on a Tuesday.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, our A to Z Sports Titans reporter. Got to make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms because we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show on Twitter X, segment by segment. Also, make sure you hit up Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Gotta thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundais.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans for your health coverage. Check them out at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping you safe online, and you can get a 2-week free trial with the Aura app by using our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer in the Middle Tennessee area with 3 awesome locations, Murfreesboro, Columbia, and Franklin. Their website online at KrebsKubota.com. So, Sam, it does seem like ever since last Tuesday, some fortune has changed when it comes to the Titans roster.
Is there any optimism towards the Titans staying any healthier than they have in the past 2 years? Because 1 year, that's an offspring. 2 years, that's starting to become a trend.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what to expect coming into this third year.
I don't want to say too much because have you guys heard of a practice injury that's happened so far this camp?
Oh, geez.
Not really.
Now we have to knock on wood so bad.
But seriously, right?
You opened a whole can of worms here, man. Like you didn't just jinx Traylon Burks. You in what since you said that on the Tighten Up podcast, we've gotten Traylon Burks down, we've gotten Will Levis hurt, we've gotten Kyle Phillips hurt, we've had Colton Dowell and a couple other like minor injuries along the way.
Kearis Jackson.
And it hasn't even really been a week since you said that on the Tighten
said
Up
that
podcast.
last Tuesday afternoon. So
Yeah.
It will be almost a full week since that happened.
Yeah, you've done some damage here. You've opened a full can of worms, and the Titans seem to be spiraling on the injury front. So
yeah, open a can of worms and snake bit all at the same time in the last week or so. But There are some interesting stipulations that comes with this because Sam, you and I were talking before the show of how this is going to impact roster cut down, because we'll talk about the wide receivers at length, but running backs that have been hurt even before I said that, Hassan Haskins and Jonathan Ward, they've been out for now approaching 2 full weeks. Monty Rice also has been out for almost 2 weeks. And then at linebacker, and then Naquan Jones, this came out last night from Terry McCormick of Titan Insider, saying that Naquan Jones had arthroscopic knee surgery recently, but he is expected to be back and ready for week 1 of this season. But I don't even know if Naquan Jones is a lock to make the roster. And then with the other injuries that you talk about of Haskins and Ward and Monty Rice, I think their jobs are in jeopardy because of their lack of availability over the last 2 weeks. Will Levis will find out what happens and if he'll be able to go Friday night against the Patriots in the preseason game, if he's a part of the scrimmage that we'll talk about later on today. But the 4 wide receivers that have all gone down since I said that almost a week ago is pretty interesting, right? Traylon Burks, we talked about the LCL sprain with the Bone and Joint Institute last week. Kyle Phillips, Paul Kaharski having an MCL injury. We don't know if that means a sprain, but a 6-week projection is what Paul Kaharski reported last night, I guess yesterday on his website. So 6 weeks for Kyle Phillips MCL. That to me feels like a sprain timeline. Colton Dowell, to be determined. We don't really know what's going on with Colton Dowell. And then Kearis Jackson, we saw him leave in the preseason game with a knee injury. Sam, take us back through what happened to Colton Dowell, because that happened in practice on Thursday, the second day of joint practices with the Vikings. What's your recollection of how that went down?
It was actually the first day. It was Wednesday.
Okay.
He had that long touchdown, and then during the team period at one point, he kind of came away hobbling, limped off into this tent with trainers, proceeded to then go inside, and we were like, okay, we'll see if he's out there tomorrow. He didn't practice at all on Thursday, was ruled questionable for the game in Minnesota, did not play in the game in Minnesota, and so far Colton Dowell has not been seen since he limped off with trainers. So we believe it's lower body something, but don't have an official diagnosis on the severity of Colton Dowell's injury right now. Andre, I think this is a funny comment. The Titans they're building the callus, Austin. All those injuries at wide receiver, they're just building the callus. Give them a break. Like, they're trying to be durable and withstand the vigors of the season. Rigors. I don't know.
Rigors.
Yeah.
Absolutely rigors, not vigors. Vigorous.
Rigorous.
But
rigors.
Yes, not vigors. But this is interesting because I think Hassan Haskins there's no use for Hassan Haskins on this roster, in my opinion. I think Julius Chestnut, as we've seen, has surpassed him, and because of his lack of availability, plus the outside non-football legal situation, I think that's a problem too for him. And then I'll let you respond here in a second, but Monty Rice, is he approaching unreliable and not valuable either? Because Monty Rice has been injured for his entire NFL career, it seems like.
We've passed unreliable for Monty Rice. I think that's a given at this point. I don't think he's in the same boat necessarily as Haskins just yet, but yeah, I mean, Haskins is the ultimate, it's kind of a Wally Pipp situation here with him, where you maybe had a roster spot as one of these running backs and you get hurt, and Julius Chestnut has the game of his life, basically running for 90-something yards in Minnesota. And now Hassan Haskins really seems irrelevant and expendable to the Titans. And, Monty Rice, I don't think is roster expendable, but when you look at how Jack Gibbons and Chance Campbell have played in his absence as well, I certainly feel like he's lost a spot or two on the depth chart with being unavailable and with his injury this training camp and preseason. And so this will be an interesting thing to kind of monitor as cut day approaches. A week cut day, who is and who isn't available? How does that affect how many at a certain position the Titans keep? And I think we just showed the graphic. None of them, I think, are more significant than wide receiver, which I felt like was an open and shut case. Now you've got 4 injuries at the position.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you throw your hands up and go, oof, we'll see who they keep and who they don't.
Right. With Haskins, I think his injury situation might have accelerated the inevitable with him because of more talented
Yeah.
players, explosive players at the position passing him. I think Monty Rice is more talented and has a higher ceiling of a player than Haskins does at his position, but lack of availability over his 3 years with the Titans or 2+ years with the Titans is concerning and has been a trend. So, Sam, let's spend more time diagnosing the receivers and talking about the position group as a whole, because the 4 receivers that have gone down with some type of injury over the last 6 days, Traylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, Colton Dowell, Kearis Jackson. I think we feel okay about Traylon Burks and his ability to be back for week 1. Kyle Phillips, that's an interesting
At the
timeline
least
we'll
week
discuss.
2 for Traylon.
You think so?
I mean, I don't think week 1's a guarantee.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I think we can feel good about it. I think we can feel optimistic about a potential ability for it. I'm not guaranteeing it.
Yeah, I'm saying like at worst, I think he's back for week 2, and you might have to hold him out of that first game to bring him back up to speed. But I mean, you heard it straight out of the head coach's mouth. This is not a long-term thing. And so Traylon missing any more than like the first game of the season, I think would be a surprise to me.
Agreed. And then you have 2 guys in Dowell and Jackson that were not locks to make the roster by any means, but were 2 of the better depth pieces in future options as well. So let's ask this question, Sam, to get the chat more involved here. You see the 4 injuries to the wide receivers right there. So we're going to ask this question: which Titans wide receivers roster chances improved the most after these recent injuries? So which Titans wide receivers roster chances improved the most after the recent injuries to the position? This is going to be an interesting conversation, but first, I'm going to tell everybody about our great friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans. Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should and can turn for your health coverage. If you're sitting there and you're not sure how much you're paying for your health coverage, and maybe you don't know if that's actually a good plan or not. A lot of people kind of fall in that bucket and not really knowing if their health coverage is a good plan for you or if they can find better out there. And Farm Bureau Health Plans can help you find better for actually a better cost. And that's what they've done with Zach Bingham. He saved 20% a month, has better coverage across the board for health, dental, and vision for 20% less every month, which is kind of awesome, right? And he's been doing that for almost 2 years at this point. Other A to Z members have found that to be helpful as well. And Farm Bureau Health Plans has helped Tennesseans for now over 75 years. They celebrated 75 years last year during football season. So well over 75 years at this point, and they can do the same thing for you. So start your process with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
Today's show is powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, it's a second chance to win big, up to $1,000 back into your account, even if your wager loses, and another chance to win with BetMGM. It's the best way to do sports betting with the king of sportsbooks and BetMGM.com.
All right, so Sam, the question: which Titans wide receivers roster chances improved most after the recent injuries? We talked about Burks, him likely being back by week 2. Phillips, if you're talking about 6 weeks, that's week 4-ish.
Which, I mean, then you're starting to talk, does he open on IR? Which is why, like, this roster situation is interesting, right?
Right. Now, so let's reset the rules before we get to all of the comments here to answer our question: which wide receivers roster chances improve the most? In order to be able to go on IR and come off of injured reserve in the season, you have to make the initial 53-man roster. So if Kyle Phillips is going to start the season on injured reserve and come off around week 4, week 5, he has to be on the initial 53. So that means one of these other guys might have to get cut, and then Phillips go on IR, and then you bring back that receiver to replace Phillips for the next few weeks too. So that's just that little, logistics of how you have to go about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, he'd be on the 53, but not actually on the 53. And you see that kind of thing all the time with teams where it's like, oh, you made the 53, guys cut 2 days later because they activate somebody or they sign somebody else, and it goes the other way where He's on the 53, then he's on injured reserve, and somebody that was maybe cut is then signed back to the active roster and, on the team for the first 4 weeks. So it's not necessarily something you'll get answers on when the initial roster first comes out. There could be somebody that's waived that is, brought back pretty immediately. But which Titans wide receiver roster chances have improved the most? Tighten Up thinks it's NWI. Stephen King says it's Mason Kinsey. We've got Racey McMath, Colton Dowell, if he can get healthy, Mason Kinsey from Scott Weaver, all of them from Matt, NWI from Valentino, NWI from Eric, Kinsey from Darius Horton, Reggie Roberson from Lane, Des Fitzgerald is not a player and not on the team anymore. So yeah, Des is not with the team. So
Des Fitzpatrick,
and he's not.
Is he in Pittsburgh?
I think so.
He was.
I don't know if he survived. If he has survived Pittsburgh still.
I'll check while you keep reading comments. I'll check.
Sadly, Racey McMath says Brad, Kinsey, Roberson, Racey, McMath, Racey. Unfortunately, NWI slot. So Mason Kinsey, Racey, says Yuri. Unfortunately, NWI again. A lot of unfortunately's, man. Hop off NWI. You guys give him a break, man. Unfortunately, Nick Westbrook Akine, man. Racey McMath, NWI or McMath. It's an easy question. Jackson says Eric Davis. Roberson says David. Kinsey says NJ Titans fan. A lot of NWI. So I don't know if you found the results on the Des Fitzpatrick.
Des Fitzpatrick is still with the Steelers right now. I did see a website that covers the Steelers that ranked the top 90 players in camp on August 1st. Des Fitzpatrick came in at 82nd out of 90 on the Steelers roster. So
not looking great for a guy that's got to try and make a 53.
Yeah, only like 29 guys to jump.
Yeah. Right? Austin, I found this interesting. The chat very heavily on NWI, Racey McMath, and a couple on Mason Kinsey. Whose odds improved the most. And I'm going to go ahead and say I disagree with the chat off the bat.
Okay.
I don't know how many times I have to say this. My guy Buck was looking out for people like me a couple weeks ago when he went on his rant on radio. Nick Westbrook Akine is and was a lock to make the Titans roster. He's going to be maybe their wide receiver 2 if Burks and Phillips can't play week 1. He's as lock gets. His odds are not improving at all by this. He was on the team and he is still on the team. We need to drop this NWI might get cut thing. It's not going to happen. It was never going to happen. Okay, that's done.
No, can I respond?
Sure.
Because NWI became a 1,000% lock when Treylon Burks got hurt last week. My whole position was somebody else needs to bump NWI off the island because I didn't think he was a lock. I think he was the number 5 spot by far, head and shoulders over anybody else for the number 5 spot behind Chris Moore. But here's the reality. Nobody in that cluster of dudes outside of NWI stepped up enough for the Titans to even have to consider not having NWI. So that's if somebody came out of camp and was strong and made the case that they cannot afford to cut them, then NWI would be the veteran of those top 5 to be expendable because of his contract and where you think his ceiling's at. But that didn't happen. Nobody else rose to that occasion.
I think there's an argument to be made. This is a pointless argument that we're not going to have, that NWI could be higher than Chris Moore on the depth chart. I don't think that that's necessarily like set in stone that Moore is above NWI. I think his experience in the offense, but regardless, irrelevant. Racey, I don't see making this team, and I still don't see making this team after these injuries, especially with Treylon Burks on the roster still and maybe only missing like 1 game. I think for me, Austin, the biggest impact is a unique shift in philosophy for the Titans, because typically the back end of this wide receiver room is determined by who can have the biggest impact on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And with Treylon Burks maybe not playing week 1, with Kyle Phillips certainly not playing week 1, and then with your other two other guys in your wide receiver room being Chris Moore and NWI, who are, special team impact guys that are blocking priorities, I think the Titans need to throw somebody on this roster that can be an impactful wide receiver. That doesn't mean they're Treylon Burks. It doesn't mean they're even going to have more than, a couple catches in a game.
Yeah.
But I think you need to have somebody who can have some offensive production for you. And so the guy for me is going to be Reggie Roberson, who I think now makes this 53 and stands to gain the most from the injury situation. He has been, to me, the most consistently impactful offensive wide weapon that they have had beyond these first 5 receivers. And so if you're looking to add somebody who can be on the field and maybe get open and catch a few balls in the first few games, Reggie's that guy. I think he makes the team now and would not have a week ago.
Okay, so that's Sam's answer. So we'll continue to read, your comments. Which Titans wide receivers roster chances improved the most after the recent injuries? I'm going to get to mine here shortly because Sam made some good points there, and I want to read some comments from you guys that I've earmarked as well. But first, the Aura app can keep you safe online. They're doing that for me. They are limiting and really shutting down any type of spam calls that I get to my phone, which used to be every day. They're cutting down on random junk emails that I didn't sign up to get in my email inbox every day. And I'm getting less nonsense in my mailbox that I immediately throw in the recycling bin on a daily basis as well, because I signed up with Aura. It took me 3 minutes to sign up. And then when I signed up, Aura notified that I had 30 data brokers that were selling and sharing my information to spammers, robocallers, and telemarketers. And they removed those from my life in like 5 or 6 days. It was like 28 of them in 5 days. And the other 2 were kind of tougher to get rid of, but they got rid of them. And so that was 5 or 6 days, and it took 2 or 3 minutes to sign up. We're going to give you a 2-week free trial with Aura by using our link, aura.com/ATOZ. It's such an easy thing to type into your web browser right there, aura.com/ATOZ. It truly has been a great experience. They also protect and manage your passwords. So if a password gets breached in a data breach, that you can go change that on whatever platform that is and keep it simple. Credit, identity theft monitoring. Those are just the surface of what Aura can do for you. So stay safe online and get a 2-week free trial, aura.com/ATOZ.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use that bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You type in that bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up, and even if your first wager loses, you get up to $1,000 back and a second chance to win big. That's why they're the king of sportsbooks and why we love BetMGM. Sign up on BetMGM.com.
All right, so your answer was Reggie Roberson or Roberson. He changed his pronunciation at some
Mr.
point.
Jones says Roberson, which I know was how it was pronounced, but then you told me he changed it, so I don't know.
I remember on the Bears broadcast, Charles Davis, and now I'm missing the name of the new play-by-play guy who's doing an incredible job. Damn it, it's going to drive me crazy. Notre Dame. But anyway, they mentioned that the name adjustment from Reggie, but I can't remember from what to what, because I think it's Roberson now, because I remember it lined up with Derek Roberson, who was an old edge rusher out of the state of Texas the Titans had as an undrafted free agent several years ago. So I think it's Reggie Roberson now, because it's now the same as Derek.
I'll ask Titans PR today and figure it out.
Yeah, good Lord, because it's driving me crazy. So I think it's very clear the Titans, I think before this string of injuries, we're going to have 5 receivers. I think now they're going to have 6, because Phillips may be going on IR for that 3 to 4 week game window early on to get him back. Now that opportunity creates another one. So here's my projection. I agree, Sam. I think Reggie is the guy that's going to stick on the initial 53 man. I think Mason Kinsey is not going to initially, but I do think Kinsey will go on the practice squad if there is a decision to move Kyle Phillips to injured reserve for that short-term IR. I think that's where Mason Kinsey could be elevated after that move is made. Now, I have to remind myself of the logistics of it. Does it have to be after week 1? Does it have to be or whatever that looks like? But here's the good thing. DeAndre Hopkins can play in the slot and has gotten a lot of work in the slot. So you don't necessarily need Mason Kinsey available. But what Mason Kinsey does is it gives you extra depth as a punt returner because Phillips was your main punt returner. Kinsey can do that. Is Eric Garror going to make this team? I think he could, but he could be a punt returner. But now I think Kinsey helps you in a couple different ways if the IR move for Phillips is necessary. I think Trayshawn Harrison 3 weeks ago was making a case for this situation, but I think he's kind of hit that training camp wall where Reggie has blown by that wall. And, it being his second year, I think Reggie Robertson has made the best of the opportunity.
So you think they keep 5, the original 5 with Kyle Phillips, Chris Moore, NWI, Hopkins, and Burks. They add a 6th in Reggie. Then Phillips goes to IR shortly after the 53-man cut day, and Mason Kinsey is brought back to the active roster, or just elevated from the practice squad.
Yeah, elevated from the practice squad probably would make the most sense. Yeah.
Okay, so you have 5 on the actual active roster then, I guess.
After Phillips goes to IR.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure. The logistics of it'll be interesting to see, but I think that's the right group with Reggie added to this group. I think that's the right group here.
Yeah.
Austin, got a couple, super chats here.
Yes.
$20 from Amnesia. Big super chat coming in.
Chat. Yeah.
Says wide receiver injuries are exactly why we knew they needed more depth at the position. And here we are about to start the season. They're already plagued with injuries. Is this a Vrabel issue or a Carthon issue? He's speechless. And I get the frustration, but I would say to Amnesia that 2 of your top 3 receivers go down on really any team in the NFL. And you're going to be looking at the wide receiver room being like, what options do we have? Like you take 2 of the top 3, the room's not going to look very good. So I'm not sure it's an issue for anything other than guys that are injury prone. I agree that depth would be nice, but it's not always easy to acquire that depth. People have to want to come here and want to play, a depth role. So, yeah.
And I have a feeling a former Titans wide receiver who wore the jersey 84 will be somewhat of a conversation talking point over the next week as we're 1 week away from roster cut days. Andre says the team didn't address strength and conditioning and decided Chris Moore, Colton Dowell, and a gamble that paid off for D-Hop was all they needed. Arrogance, maybe. I think we have talked about arrogance with Mike Vrabel and previously John Robinson in certain situations throughout the last several years. And maybe Sam, you're not been a part of all that, but Zach and I definitely have. And I know Buck has throughout the years as well. Now, they did somewhat address strength and conditioning with the addition of another strength and conditioning coach that they made full-time earlier this month. But again, the overall process is what Vrabel said. He was blaming certain amount of players for not staying healthy more than the system itself. And I do think there was some bad luck along with that as well.
To be fair, though, like in Vrabel's defense here, we haven't seen soft tissue really.
No.
Like these ones, I think Levis's might be soft tissue if it's some thigh thing. I'm not 100% sure. We don't know the diagnosis there, but like knees and things like that is not strength and conditioning. This is kind of some circumstantial, some of them as contact injuries in a game. Like that is not on your strength and conditioning staff. That's on bad luck, if guys are going down with that. Yeah. So there's a difference. Like Vrabel's approach this offseason was to try and protect against soft tissue. So I just want to make that clear. And then I also noted Kenneth saying go sign Mims for cheap. And I think that is going to be similar to Corey Davis, like a conversation that you have about who can the Titans sign now to come in and like as guys get released from rosters, is there somebody available that can help them?
Yeah, for sure. A to Z Sports here live on this Tuesday. We've got trivia coming up. We've also got a Titans practice that Sam and I have to get to. The Titans are doing an inter-squad scrimmage. They're going like college football fall practice route.
Full scrimmage from the sound
and this
of it,
is awesome. So let's hear from the Titans head coach on Titans radio last night with his Mike Vrabel show, the very first edition of the Mike Vrabel show of the season, about what today's practice is going to be.
Had to cancel joint practices with the Patriots. How does it change what you're going to do in practice tomorrow and also Wednesday?
Well, we've got a little surprise. We're doing a little blue-white scrimmage. We had a draft. We've got 2 head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T, will be the head coach on one team, and John Stretch Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players, they've drafted coaches, they've drafted trainers, they've drafted strength coaches. So I hope that the team enjoys it. I hope they have fun with it. We'll have 2 fields. We'll have one team stretching on one field, and we'll see how it goes.
I love it. I love it. They did an inter squad draft of players and coaches and strength and conditioning staff to simulate a game in practice. Today's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome out there at St. Thomas Sports Park.
It's going to be so much fun. So let's take this a step further. Let's ask everybody, who do we think was the first player drafted in this draft, in this inter squad Titans blue versus white team scrimmage? Who do we think was the first player drafted in this scrimmage draft? But Sam, first tell everybody about our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute, they're getting such great ad placement here as we talk about all of these injuries here, because the Titans need to go see them. Like, if you go to the Bone and Joint Institute, they're who you can trust whenever you get hurt in life. You don't want to fumble on your recovery. So you go see them out in Franklin and visit them at boneandjointtn.org. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility, everything all under one roof on one campus, from rehab to clinic to image surgery testing. You're not going to drive everywhere going to your different appointments. You just go get good, reliable care out in Franklin from the best doctors there is. So schedule your appointment with them. It's boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM, you can always win big with our first bet offer with bonus code ATOZ Sports. It gets you up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. But hey, maybe you're already a member of BetMGM and you've already signed up with ATOZ Sports, like me, like Sam, like several of you guys have. How about you take advantage of the Refer a Friend invitation and get up to $2,000 in bonus bets for yourself? Because every time one of your friends signs up via your Refer a Friend invitation with BetMGM, you get $100 in bonus bets. Your friend gets $100 in bonus bets. You can invite up to 20 friends that accept. So that's up to $2,000 in bonus bets to kick off your NFL football season with the king of sportsbooks, that is BetMGM. So take advantage of that today. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only, new and existing customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued at knowledgeable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. And for problem game sport, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. So Sam, we're talking about this scrimmage, as Brian tweeted this out. Pretty cool. Titans practice tomorrow in lieu of the joint practice with New England. Blue versus white scrimmage. Terrell Williams and Stretch are the coaches. They drafted players, trainers, etc. Very competitive today at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. That's coming up in about 45 minutes from right now, Sam. So I'll send you the chat. Who does the chat think was the number 1 pick in this scrimmage draft?
Pistol Ramsey says Henry. We've got Big Jeff. We got Tannehill, Simmons, Tannehill, Jeffrey Simmons, Ryan Tannehill, DeAndre Hopkins, Ryan Tannehill, Henry, Jeff, Tier Tart from Jesse. Oh, wow. That would be an upset. That's an Anthony Bennett type pick.
Oh, gross. That's a Trayvon Walker pick right there.
Malik Willis, Derrick Henry, King Henry, Tannehill, Henry, Simmons. Who will actually play, though? That's a good question. Kevin Byard is the answer here. We've got Tannehill and Derrick. I saw somebody say Mike Vrabel earlier. Mike Vrabel, I don't think, was eligible to be drafted because
at some point he might have been drafted because they did draft coaches.
Yeah, but as what? Because he's not a head coach.
He was a D-line coach 2 weeks ago.
But I feel like he's the I think he's
the
like,
eye in the sky.
He's the eye in the sky. He's making sure he might be the official today. Who knows?
Yeah, he's the all-time head coach. He is
right
for both teams. All right, so
we're gonna draft because
we're gonna do it. We're gonna draft. We're gonna do it. So
we're snaking. Are we snaking? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, we will snake between me and you. Now the
Okay.
key is, who do we think gets the first? Who should get the first pick? Me or Sam? So here's how we're gonna solve this. We're gonna have the chat decide who should pick first between me or you.
Okay.
The first one of us with 7 answers in the chat gets to pick first.
Okay.
So comment Austin or Sam, Sam or Austin. Who do you think should pick first? And the first one of us with 7 names gets the first pick. So we'll see if the little popularity contest on what's going to happen.
I'm up
Sam's out to a hot start.
I
don't know.
won.
All right, so let's see here. We got 1 Sam, 2 Sam, 3 Sam. Oh, Sam just. I think I got swept.
6, 7.
Now here's the problem. Your name has 3 letters. My name has 6. So all the Sams got out twice as fast as the Austins did, which means you get to pick first. But that's okay.
Okay.
So Sam, you pick 1. I get 2 in a row. Then we just basically go 2 in a row after that. So we're going to draft, and I don't know how long we're going to go in this because
Mr. Ramsey, he wants to know what we're doing here. We're drafting the Titans against the other Titans, just like they did for practice today.
And this is only players eligible to practice today. This is not anybody like anybody who's hurt, like Traylon Burks, Kyle Phillips. They're not practicing today, so they are unavailable. So let me get my draft board down, which is a piece of mail. And so I'm going to have a list for you and a list for me.
See, I'm struggling with this first pick now. I was honestly planning to pick second. So now I gotta see what my draft strategy is going to be here.
Give me a second. You're still on the clock. You've got time as I'm just numbering off things on my draft board envelope.
All right. I've got it. I'm ready. With the first pick in the Titans redraft draft, I'm going to take Big Jeff Simmons. I'm going to win the trenches early. I'm going to go get the loudest, most disruptive player in every Titans practice. I'm going to take Big Jeff as the center of my defensive unit here.
So I will say, Sam, that was also going to be my first pick.
Steal your pick. All right. Love it.
Yeah.
Glad I went that way then.
You absolutely stole my pick because I do think Big Jeff is the most disruptive practice player the Titans have on this roster. And so when you're talking about a practice scrimmage, I do think that is a advantage to have 98 in there to just.
If Terrell Williams had the first pick, I can guarantee you Jeff went 1-1. I guarantee you Jeff went first round, like first overall, if Terrell Williams was picking. So.
Yeah, I don't hate your pick here. All right, so now I get 2 in a row. So let me write down Jeff in 1 of 1 slot for Sam. So I'm going to go second. I am going to go with Tannehill in my 1 slot, and I'm going to go back to back, and I'm going to go ahead and take DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. See, that was the other strategy. That was what I was planning to do if I was picking second overall. And that. So here, question: do I get Malik Willis auto now?
No, I'm going to, should we pretend like Levis is available? Because he warmed up, right?
Who are we pretending is available?
Traylon Burks available? Burks and Phillips are not. We know Haskins and Rice are not. They're not going to be drafted in our 15 picks or whatever.
So I think I get Malik Willis now automatically because if
but then you can then that saves you a spot because you could draft Willis 15.
I mean, you're going to take both quarterbacks? We can't.
I could. Then I could force you to trade
Mason Kinsey.
Right now?
No.
Okay,
I'm kidding. All right.
So no, you do not get Willis automatically.
Okay. Well, all right. Here's what this might be a bad pick.
You get 2 in a row.
Yeah. Well, number 1, I'm gonna go ahead and get some protection established here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the best offensive lineman on the Titans offensive line. I'm gonna take Peter Skoronski.
Good pick.
And then I will go ahead and I'm just going to set the tone. I'm taking Arden Key.
No!
I'm going to get Big Jeff and Arden Key. And is Arden the second best player on the defense? No. But he's the second most disruptive player on this defense.
I thought about that. I almost went Arden Key over DeAndre Hopkins. So that's very good picking by you. All right. So now I get 2 in a row, correct?
I'm pumped about this team already.
All right.
Let's go.
I get 2 in a row. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go ahead and knock out Kevin Byard. And then I'm going to go with Harold Landry.
Byard and Landry.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now you have 2 in a row as well.
Yeah.
Well, this is just fun. I haven't played fantasy football since 2019, but this is kind of getting me juiced up a little. The drafting is my favorite part of fantasy football. Everything else after the draft sucks.
Draft day is the best. Yeah, without a doubt, the best day. All right, here you go. Ready?
Yeah.
I think the Titans have an issue at one position on the field, specifically with their depth there. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it up. I'm going to take Roger McCreary and Christian Fulton. And I'm going to go get 2 corners. I'm locking down this defense. You can go ahead and sit with the back end of this secondary. I'm taking McCreary and Fulton.
And then I will take back-to-back Derek and Tajay.
Oh, okay. Okay, dang. Oh, I didn't expect that.
I got Tannehill, D-Hop, Derek, and Tajay. What you going to do about it?
Why McCreary, Fulton, Arden Key, and Jeffrey Simmons?
I know. You've gone Peter Skronsky as your offensive player. That's all you got so far. All right.
I'm winning up front. Yeah. Establish the run.
All right. Yeah, with Malik.
All right. Well, I'll go get my first offensive player.
Second offensive player.
That's right. I'll take Chig.
Okay. That's a good pick because I was about to just clean up the offense if you didn't. Yeah, so now you get one more.
That's good value on Chig, I feel like. I will go ahead and I will take see, this is position of need for me at this point.
Yeah.
I will take Amani Hooker.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get to the I don't want to give you both Hooker and Byard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and lock up
Hooker. That's a good pick. So right now, you've got Jeff, Skronsky, Key, McCreary, Fulton, Chig, and Hooker. I've got Tannehill, Hopkins, Byard, Landry, Derek, and Tajay. So
I was getting ready to take Spears, and that threw me off there.
All right, so all right, so now I'm going to go with Tart and Autry back to back.
It's a good pick. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, lock those guys up.
You get 2 back to back.
You take Tart and Autry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sam's waiting on the quarterback.
Yeah,
I have us taking 15 players. We can go to 15 and see where we're at and see if we want to keep going.
Okay. Well, I will do. Screw it. I'll take Andre Dillard and Aaron Brewer. I'll get the starting offensive line. You can take the second unit that's given up like 38 sacks in 2 games so far. And by the way, I still have Big Jeff and Arden Key, so good luck.
Yeah, fair. And look, hey, 7-on-7 is going to happen in this thing too. Like this is not just 11 on 11.
I'm not drafting for 7-on-7.
All right. So now I'm sitting here and trying to figure out which direction I need to go. I might go with. Where do I want to go here? I'm going to go. I've been going double dipping in positions the last few picks, but I need to fill out the rest of my defense. So I'm going to do Aziz.
That's where I was going.
The only good inside linebacker thus far. And then I will also take Sean Murphy Bunting.
Yeah. You kind of had to take SMB at some point here.
Yeah. I mean, that was my Malik, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sam has 3 offensive linemen, and that's about it. 3 offensive linemen and 4. And
you're forgetting I have like 5 of the best 6 players on defense here. I've won up front.
A lot of really good offensive players too.
All right. Well, screw it. I'll finish it. This maybe this is a bad pick. That might be a bad pick. I'm not going to do that. I'll take. I will take Chris Moore.
Okay.
And I will take Elijah Molden.
Man, I did not expect Elijah Molden to be the 21st player selected.
I'm got to get my nickel in there. I've got Molden, McCreary, and Fulton. A lot of versatility. Molden can jump back and be my second safety with Amani Hooker.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go with.
I like Pistol Ramsey's idea. I might sign Josh Dobbs. I mean, that
right?
might be what.
Okay, where do I want to go next? I'm going to go. The right side of the offensive line just not any good, so there's no value to that. So I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Rashad Weaver. And then I will get a second wide receiver at NWI.
Okay. I will take. I'll pull a trigger. I'll take Malik Willis.
Okay.
I'll get my quarterback out of the way.
Yep.
And I will take. I'll take Reggie Robertson.
Wow. All right, so I got 2 picks here.
You might look at my Willis thrown to Chris Moore and Reggie as like not a good combo, especially when you look at your offense. But Chig, a little bit dangerous, and I've got protection up front. That's what's going to matter.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to reset this here in a second because I feel like we're at a spot where we've lost a lot of memory of what's happened. So I will reset here in a second with our draft. But first, Krebs Kubota, they can take care of you for all of your equipment needs in the Middle Tennessee area. Check them out online, KrebsKubota.com. They are an elite Kubota dealer, which means you get the best equipment and the best warranty. Plus, with the Krebs name, you get the best people in the customer service business with all of your equipment needs. Again, Krebs Kubota, they've been serving Middle Tennessee for 18 plus years, and they have 3 amazing locations, Columbia, Franklin, and in Murfreesboro. So whatever your project is around your house, big or small, check out our friends at KrebsKubota.com. Sam, I'll go ahead and reset here with our draft. You went with Big Jeff Skoronski, Key, McCreary Fulton, Chig Hooker. Then you went Dillard Brewer, Chris Moore, Elijah Molden, Malik, and Reggie Robb. I go with Tannehill D-Hop, Byard Landry, Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears, Tartan Autry, Aziz SMB, Weaver, and NWI.
Yeah.
I got to say, I think I'm over the salary cap, but
yeah, you've got all the.
So it is my pick, right?
I'm young and streamlined, baby. Yeah. I've got young, cheap contracts.
So I do get 2 picks here back to back, and then we'll go a couple more players after that. Because now it's getting tough. Now we're getting to the point to where you're talking about depth players and special teamers, because we have drafted 25 Titans thus far. Without Burks and Phillips and other injuries being available like Will Levis. I think I'm going to have to go with the right side of the offensive line and Brunskill and Hubbard.
Okay. That's fine. I expected you would have to go that way soon. I thought about doing it just to make sure that I had the entire starting offensive line.
Yeah.
Because that's hard to deny if I have the whole starting offensive line.
Right.
And you've got second teamers. Okay. I will go with, I'll go ahead and get my green dot, and I'll take Jack Gibbons.
Okay.
And then I will go ahead and scoop up Julius Chestnut, my guy, Julius Chestnut.
All right. So this would be my 15th pick. We could stop here. I think this would be a good place to stop because it's getting difficult and the players aren't as worthy, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. I had some scheme in here, but
look, there's undrafted free agency, man. You can
okay.
We're in the 15th round here. So,
good news. You have no cap space, so I get everybody else.
So I think offensively, I've got a lot of weapons. I've got a lot of really good defensive star power, and I've got a couple offensive linemen. There's no offensive lineman worth taking with this pick, but I'm going to go with the ultimate weapon. I'm going to make sure I can flip the field just in case my offense doesn't get it done, and I'm going to go with Ryan Stonehouse as my 15th pick.
Here's the thing: we're not punting. I mean,
you don't know that.
Okay. I mean, I was assuming we don't know where we're not punting, but all right.
You don't know that.
Go for it. You don't have somebody to snap him the ball.
I think we're good to start. I think we're good here, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So
I don't know what 15. Value you got of grabbing a punter.
I just thought it was funny to end with a punter.
All right. All right, that's fine.
I think we're at a stopping spot. We will tweet out our rosters of our top 15 draft picks, and we'll see if we can make some.
I just want the people to keep in mind. Austin has 2 offensive linemen. They're Chris Hubbard and Daniel Brunskill.
In my first 15 picks, though.
Yeah, but then you're going with Zach Johnson and a bunch of backups. I just want to know who's stopping. Who is stopping Arden Key and Jeffrey Simmons? And I've got the islands locked down. I've got Molden, McCreary, Fulton, and Hooker in the secondary. Like we're
Look,
good.
you have a good defense going. I have Tannehill, D-Hop, Derek, Tajay, and NWI to round out my skill players.
Yeah, hey,
I can spread you out and do some.
Derek doesn't even practice, man. He's like he'll be every other rep. So it's a good thing you grabbed Tajay.
All right. Let's have some different fun with Tuesday Sports Trivia because, Sam, we've got what they call the immaculate grid. So you're the expert on this. We're going to do Tuesday Sports Trivia in a different fashion, a new style of it coming up right now. Wilson County Hyundai, WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where you should turn for all of your new car buying needs and your new car buying process. Make Payne Bone and his team at Wilson County Hyundai a part of that process in Lebanon or online at WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So, Sam, can you please explain to me and some that might not know what is the immaculate grid and how are we going to do this thing?
So this is the immaculate grid. You see, you've got 3 NFL teams down the left side, 3 NFL teams up top, and you are going to have to, as a group here, we have to fill in a player that has played in a regular season game for both of the 2 teams that intersect at some point, and fill out the grid. And potentially, the goal typically, I don't know if we've got time for it today because I got to run to practice here in a few minutes, but the typical goal would be to get as rare of answers as possible, the guys that nobody else is thinking about.
Okay.
But today, maybe we just need to focus on us plus the chat filling out this immaculate grid. So, I mean, I can fill us out here, and it's not going to pop up, unfortunately, on the screen. We're still working through that.
Yeah.
But can we think of a Miami Dolphin and a New Orleans Saint?
I was thinking he would also fit with the Texans, but Kenny Stills absolutely goes into one of those boxes.
Kenny Stills does. So let's do, I see somebody in the chat is already saying Brandon Cooks for Texans and Saints. So we can do Kenny Stills top left.
Yep.
Brandon Cooks top right. Both of those were confirmed winners. So
Ricky Williams would have been a good one too for that top left box of Saints and Dolphins.
Yeah, so we've got here Jets and Cardinals. Chris Streveler. Chris Streveler played for the Jets last year, right?
Last season, a regular season game. Has he played for the Cardinals in a regular season?
He did play for the Cardinals. I remember it was week 18 of 2020.
Okay.
Chris Streveler played for the Cardinals.
Okay.
So I filled that one out. We're good. That's a 2%er.
So here's a good one. So you just did Jets Cardinals. Okay.
Yeah.
So that takes off Chris Johnson, who is a Jets Cardinals option too.
What about Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall,
Broncos. I see
he could do Brandon Marshall for Broncos Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, that's a better one than the Jets. Brandon Marshall. Is he 06 or 2012? 06. Okay, that was good. Brandon Marshall's good.
Okay.
All right, we need a Jets Bronco. We need a Jet Saint. And then I'll see if I can fill out. Let's see.
See if you can take a screenshot real quick to catch us up.
Yeah.
On this. Because, I think we've done a pretty good job thus far. But obviously trying to keep us up to date on how this progresses. And we'll get better with this. If this is a way we want to go, it's a good way for trivia, then we can update this and do it in live time with a screen share potentially.
Yeah, let's see if we can. I'm trying to. Here we go.
Okay.
That's what we've got.
All right. Okay. So we've got 5 guesses left.
Yeah, we got 5 more to go. JJ Watt would work for Texans and Cardinals. I fear it's we could do it. It's a bit obvious.
You could also do DeAndre Hopkins there, which is going to be more rare.
Is it going to be more rare? Tim Tebow, I thought about, Mr. Jones. I don't think he played for the Jets, though. I don't
Not
think
in a
he ever,
regular, not in a regular season game.
yeah, I don't think he ever got in for the Jets. Um,
Preston saying we already have Jets, Cardinals, Matt Leinart would have been. We've already got that box filled. So Broncos, Jets, Saints, Jets.
Oh, I like this one. David Johnson from Noah for Texans and Cardinals.
That's
That's a
pretty good.
great one. That's what I'm going to punch in here.
Yeah.
That's going to get a rarity score of 28. So not great, but
Eric Decker for Jets, Broncos.
Sure. We'll fill that out. We're kind of running out of time here, so I'll fill that out. Eric Decker. Trevor Simeon would have been a good one too from Titans. Kyle. All right. So
Cardinals, Dolphins, Josh Rosen. Did he play in a regular season game for the Dolphins?
I think so.
So you want to go Josh Rosen, Cardinals, Dolphins?
Yeah, we can do that. Josh Rosen. Yes. Okay. 23%.
Okay, you want to screenshot us so we can update this?
All right. We're doing another screenshot. We got 2 more to go here as this. Let me see if I can get this uploaded real quick. And here it comes. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Okay.
The update.
So you got 2 spots: Saints, Jets, and Broncos, Texans.
Saints, Jets, Broncos, Texans. We could do Brock Osweiler for Broncos, Texans.
That would be good. You want to do that one? Brock Osweiler is a great one.
Let's do Brock Osweiler.
Ooh. And Brandon has a really good one for our last box.
All right. Brock Osweiler is filled out.
Jonathan Vilma.
All right. Vilma. Boom. We did it. Immaculate. Like I said, not the best rarity score possible, but this is a work in progress here as we we can do this in the future. And if we have a little bit more time, we can try and.
So what's a good rarity score? What's our goal here?
I mean, you want it definitely to be like below. I don't know. It depends. So rarity score is essentially here. This was our final. So every percentage point, so 50% for Brandon Cooks adds 50 to your rarity score. So our total was 224. Typically, you'd like it to be maybe like sub 100 would be good because that's less than 10% like on average or around 10% average for everybody. So, I mean, the pulls like Kenny Stills and Chris Streveler, those are the ones that are going to be money for the rarity score. You try and think of, but that takes obviously some more time. So we'll work on that.
Yeah. Hey, not bad. And we got a 2%er. We got a 5%er. So that's pretty good. Hey, well, look, workshopping, baby.
Terry McCormick of Titans Media pulls a rarity score of like 7 every time he does it. He gets 0.02% because he names somebody from 1965 that played for the Jets that nobody's ever heard of. So
fair enough.
It's funny.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we got to run to practice, but thanks as always. Make sure you hit the like button on the screen right there on Facebook and on YouTube. We'd appreciate that as always. Got to run. Buck Rising live tonight, A to Z Sports Primetime. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning on a Wednesday. Off to the scrimmage we go. Appreciate it as always.